Impact Day! Woo! Okay, I have to start by asking, who's excited to see Legos on the table? Okay, good. I was hoping you all were going to say that, but I needed that moment of validation for myself, so thank you. Everybody, I am Maryanne Lee. Thank you so much for being here today. I can barely contain my excitement because this is the first in-person thing that AC40 Austin Center for Design has gotten to do since before the pandemic. So I again want to just say thank you for choosing to spend your Friday with us. A little bit about me. I am a co-founder at RGLR Collective. That is a strategic planning consultancy. We work with a lot of mid-sized organizations to navigate change, messy transitions, and help them get to their next stage of growth. I'm also super proud to be the managing director of Austin Center for Design, better known as AC40. And of course, I couldn't tell you about myself without introducing you to my pack. These are the folks that I manage every day, or who manage me. And so much of the content that you'll see today happens to have a lot of contribution from my pack. So if you have any complaints or grievances later, you can direct them all to the four of them. I also could not talk to you about Austin Impact Day without sharing a little bit of background about how this event came to be. So some of you may have attended the event Austin Design Week here in Austin. Any of you attendees of that? Well, in 2023, they very sadly had to sunset the event. And for the city of Austin, that was a place where creatives, designers all came together, and we could be inspired by each other's work. We could really, get to know new methods, learn new things. For some people, this was their way into this practice. So when we got together with the co-founders of ADW, we asked them, what could we do to continue to honor the spirit of what Austin Design Week was? And they said, please fill this space with something meaningful, because that's what Austin's creative community really needs. But also, please go into this next chapter with a new name. So that's how we became Austin Impact Day, and hopefully sometime next year it will be known as Austin Impact Week. Austin Impact Week is intended to unite professionals, designers, entrepreneurs, really anyone who considers themselves a change maker. And you might be a change maker in your family, you might be a change maker at work, you might be a change maker in your broader community. Whatever that means to you, we want this to be a space where you can gain new creative solving skills, where you can really get to know other people who are wanting to use their talent and skills in a very meaningful way. Austin Center for Design is today's sole sponsor, facilitator, host, all the things. And we hope that this time next year, this slide will be filled with many other organizations. Since our founding in 2009, we've really always believed that we can transform the world through design and design education. You don't have to be a designer to benefit from that. In fact, some of our best collaborators are non-designers. So if you are a non-designer here, can you please just raise your hand real quick? Woo! All right, non-designers. You are our best collaborators. This is the plan for today. Super packed agenda, and actually I'm so excited about this that when I'm not up here, I'm definitely gonna be sitting next to all of you. And that might mean me building some Legos up here while I stand. But this is going to be a really packed, fun day. For lunch, if you want to stay here, you're welcome to. You can also go to some of the walkable spots nearby, take a break, or bring your food back here. You're welcome to do either. The afternoon portion is going to involve a panel. Super excited for you to see some of the speakers that we've invited. And this afternoon, if any of you need a place to sit down, decompress, take a break, there's also a nice little seating area back behind me in this hallway here, and of course nice picnic tables outside to the right. Today's theme, Imagine Together, asks the question, What could we create if we allowed ourselves to imagine again? Just going to pause there for a second. If we allow ourselves to imagine again. Real quickly, can anyone give me an example of what they think imagination feels like?
Lots of color.
Lots of color. Okay.
Joy.
What? Joy. What else?
Possibilities.
Possibilities. Yeah.
Being yourself.
Being yourself. I really like that one. I'm going to build on that one. So, being yourself. Imagination is not a childhood luxury. It is actually a way we as adults recover meaning from the information that we have within ourselves and the information that we get from our outside world. And one of the things that I've thought a lot about when it comes to imagination is how some of our greatest scarcities today are really things like wonder, curiosity, imagination. All three of those things no longer have some of those feelings that you all just described. And so if we think about wonder, not as this maybe feeling that we get today where you feel resigned or something just looks so done and polished that you can't add anything to it. You no longer feel that feeling of surprise and delight where you get to say to yourself, wow, I've never experienced that before. There's also, changes in how curiosity manifests for ourselves every day, where we can get answers at our fingertips in a moment's notice. And so instead of being excited to explore, we numb that urge by just accepting whatever instant answer we find ourselves getting. Imagination actually might be one of the most challenging of these three because it invites the most ambiguity. It means that we are going to allow ourselves to imagine things that don't yet exist. And when everything can be generated quickly, when everything can come at us as fast as you can push a button, you might be wondering, why bother? So one of the things that I've really had the privilege to learn in my work as a researcher and as a designer is that in human stories lies all of the ordinary raw materials needed to fill my imagination. And so whether that was talking to small business owners or getting to know adult children who are helping their families navigate the challenges of aging and the complexities that come along with that, I've learned that their stories are filled with the things that I need to imagine with. And as people who, like so many of you have described, what imagination is, it's filled me with what I need to overcome really challenging realities that you might hear in the stories you come across. So if you're addressing a problem that has, really difficult emotions behind it, imagination is that bridge that helps you to synonymously think, what is the practical hope that I can give and contribute to the world? So I'm not going to delay any longer. In front of you are piles of Legos, and today we are going to bring our imagination to life in a very visible way. Who's ready to play with Legos? Yes. Okay, awesome. We're gonna play with Legos, and to start, the very first thing is gonna be a warm-up build, and I have to say this because there's a little bit of this in each one of us, which is there is no right or wrong way to build. However you want to build is the right way to build. So, okay. So let's dive in. For your warm-up, you are gonna create an animal, any animal that you want. Obviously, if I were doing this, I'd make a dog. So any animal that you want, I'm gonna give you 3 minutes as a warm-up, and you can use any of the Legos in front of you, and then we're gonna talk about it. Okay, while you were building, Josh came around and gave you all a sheet This is to help you just capture little things that you notice and observe today as you're doing your different builds. What are these little things inside of you that spark your imagination? So first, I would love to hear from some of you. What did you notice about what that felt like? How did that first build feel?
I need to plan better.
Okay. Okay. That's a good one.
Yeah. I'll say I'm on the other side of the fence. I put boundaries on myself to make it efficient within the time frame.
Okay.
It's like too many boundaries.
Too many boundaries, need to plan better. Those are good examples. Yes, Ada.
There was a first choice. Without that first choice, nothing else could happen.
Okay.
There was a rush to the first choice, and then there was a process around that. How much does it matter with that choice? What does it say about me? What does it say about me if I choose this? What's easy? What all those things.
Wow.
For that first choice.
Yeah, there's a lot wrapped up in that first choice. Okay, all those are really, really great reflections. If you had more like those, jot those down. Those will be really great things for whenever you are feeling like your imagination is dormant or it feels too routine. These are actually the feelings that you need to recreate within yourself. And it doesn't have to be Legos. It could be crayons. It could be going out into your garden. It could be anything tactile that helps you create that feeling of that first choice. I need to plan better, because that's what you know you need to overcome in order to kickstart your imagination. Okay, I'm so excited. I'm holding on right now to this build that I did not do, but it's just to contain me so that I don't get too jealous of what everyone else is getting to do. The credit of the artist for this lovely chicken goes to Josh. Okay, so this first build, which honestly, you guys are doing such a good job with your warm-up that might have been your first build. For this first build, we're going to ignite our personal imagination. So this is going to start close to where you are right now. Think about your work, think about home, think about some of the day-to-day decisions that you make. In this first build, you're going to create a structure that shows what your work looks like to you right now. And again, I'm going to say this one more time because I, again, know there's a little bit of this in each one of us, which is there is no right or wrong way to represent what your work looks like right now. That interpretation is left up to your imagination. So again, you will have 3 minutes to construct this build, and then we're going to talk about it. Okay, so I'm seeing some really cool builds around here. Now, this personal imagination of yours, this is what it might feel like when your imagination is starting to pick up some motion. And when we look at the pieces, literally, of where we are, it's going to help us to think about what some bridges might be to build ideas from here. So I'd love to hear so far, what did you build? Who wants to describe what they've built? I'm like, this crew over here's got some good, okay.
So it's probably hard to see, but and that's what happens. That's part of the yeah, where does it fall off? So yeah, we're trying to build the plane while we're flying it, and yeah, perfect. We're not even at the part where we're comfortable as a plane.
Building the plane while flying it. Okay, awesome. Anyone else want to describe their current work state? Ada, oh wow, there's a masterpiece back here.
I'm a little bit embarrassed. I built so I have a small consultancy, it's just me, and I built almost like my sales funnel and my company and then what happens when I work with them. And as I'm looking at it right now, I'm like, that is so boxed in, so given to me by a formula of what your company is, what are you doing, what is your work? And I'm noticing that, like, I'm following the story that I'm supposed to be following.
I have a follow-up question. How does it feel when you're looking at it? Because I think we all have pictures in our head of what our work looks like. what does it look like to go from what you see in your head to what's now in front of you?
What does it look like?
Or how does it feel now that you can look at what was in your head now in front of you?
Well, I'm actually happy to get it out of my head and hearing these colors, but I'm also realizing how rigid of a mental model I'm using.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. So some of these things that Kijana and Ada have shared are the beginnings of our creative judgment coming back. We're seeing what was in our head and putting it in front of us and being able to assess, what do I do with the structure in front of me? I have to ask one more. Daniel, would you be willing to share yours as well?
Okay, so it's just kind of everywhere. And there's a wheel that could fall off at any time, which very much feels like the daily. This is a stairwell to nowhere. This is a ramp to something, we're not sure what yet. And this is a window. This is a window into, I guess, what could be. Yeah, so it's just amorphous.
Well, the raw material to the staircase that goes somewhere is a really great thing to build on. And so for our next build, you are going to have two choices. You can continue to work with the structure that you've created, or you can create something completely new. So when we start from our current state, acknowledging where we are, it gives us the raw material that we need to come up with new ideas that we want to grow to get where we want to go. So you will have, instead of 3 minutes, 5 minutes this time to get any idea that you've had in your wild. This could be something that you've wanted to start for a while. It could be a personal project that's been percolating in the back of your mind and you just haven't taken that first step. Or it could be something that you started and you abandoned and you wanted to get back to. Whatever that idea is that is, brewing inside of you, that's what I would encourage you to build. Any questions? Okay. All right, let's get building, builders. I want you to turn to someone sitting near you and share with them what it felt like to add to or change your structure. So I hear a lot of sparks happening, which is great because now we are going to start to connect some of those sparks together. In this last and final build, it's going to be a collective build. So with the partner that you just shared your idea with, build together a final structure. So this is going to be an opportunity for us to experience what it feels like to bring our ideas together into something bigger. You'll have 5 minutes to jointly build. Is there any team that would like to start us off? What was your collective imagination built to be? I have to, if this group doesn't mind, this looks amazing. Your collective imagination looks fantastic. Yeah, see? Tell us about your joint masterpiece.
We just made a city with all of our little inventions. I don't know, it's like trees and buildings and cars and city hall.
City Hall, and how does this City Hall function?
It makes cool logos.
You teed me up for that one. I just had to. It makes cool logos. Anything else?
It actually recycles.
It actually recycles. That is very good way to have community impact, if you ask me. Okay, awesome. What other team wants to share?
I think after we shared what our previous design looked like, I think for us it was synergy, but I think more personal, some professional, and So if you want to share at least your piece first, a little bit, and then I would connect the,
So initially we were starting off with kind of a diving board into new prospects, different parts of my life, ones that are a little bit more developed, ones that are less developed, and where you want to nurture that. And so this kind of diving board jumps into
so I was envisioning a space in life where things feel effortless, so I had made a waterfall which connected into the stagnant part of her vision that, need nurturing.
Yeah, and like I want to get into building more like green and sustainable stuff, so the water part like flowed into building something green.
That is lovely. That is lovely. Thank you so much for sharing that. Anyone else want to share? The Mike and Mike table?
Sure. So we had combined sort of all of our feelings of having a strong foundation, sort of this march to like more sustainable tools and something greener, and having more like a brighter fun with it. So we built this sort of bridge between that pathway, then leaving out sort of the dull, monochrome, bad environmental stuff that goes on over here on the side, and just keeping this thing that just kind of radiates the joy for us.
Radiates joy. That's a really good note to end on. So I want to take a moment to address what you all might be feeling as a group right now, just what it's like when you bring your ideas hand in hand with other people's ideas. So as you move forward into the rest of Austin Impact Day, I hope that you all will make imagination a daily part of your practice in really small ways. When we think about what our personal imagination is made of, these are often the things that we gather from our work, from our careers, from our day-to-day interactions. And within all of those little pieces of data that we gather every day, we actually have so much that we can use to imagine from. It all starts right from our current state. And then when we think about our wandering imagination, nurturing those ideas, the things that we want to grow, they're often sitting dormant inside our head, and we just need to see them visibly in front of us. So whether it's Legos, it's a sketchbook, it's a whiteboard in front of you, however you can visibly bring your ideas to life will be a lot different for nurturing the growth of your ideas than leaving them inside your head. And then last but not least, I think the collective imagination is what I hope you all will leave inspired to keep doing, which is that each of us has an idea that gets better and better when it's built on by others. And if there's something that I heard all of you share today, is that you had something that you started with, and then as you changed your idea, as you made different parts move around, you were able to build something that was bigger than what you started with. So on that note, as you continue to meet folks around you today, you have the little bingo cards that have questions for getting to know others. You never know if your next teammate is sitting right next to you, across from you, or somewhere in this room. So any of those great ideas that you had just might be waiting to be built with someone right by your side. I hope you all had fun, and if you didn't, please email me and we'll talk about it, because there's nothing that I can do that doesn't involve some kind of fun. Awesome. Great job, y'all.